The International Criminal Court is seeking arrest warrants for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, the leaders of Hamas, and other officials related to war crimes. This comes as Israel's ground offensive into Rafah continues.
At least 45 Palestinian civilians are dead after an IDF airstrike caused an explosion and a fast-moving fire through a refugee camp in Rafah. That's according to Gaza's health ministry. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu today calling it a tragic mishap.
According to Hamas-run Gaza Health Ministry, the war has killed nearly 36,000 Palestinians. That number includes civilians and fighters. Israel blamed civilian deaths on Hamas's strategy to operate in densely populated residential areas.
Today, we underline in the clearest possible fashion that international law and the laws of armed conflict apply to everyone. Those who do not comply with the law should not complain later. When my office takes action, that day has come.
The International Criminal Court, often abbreviated as ICC, is a special court that plays a crucial role in global justice. Its main job is to handle serious cases that affect lots of people around the world. The ICC focuses on grave crimes like genocide, which is when large groups of people are killed usually because of their ethnicity, religion, or nationality. It also deals with war crimes, which are severe violations during a conflict, such as harming civilians or mistreating prisoners. Additionally, the ICC prosecutes crimes against humanity, which are widespread attacks against civilians, including things like enslavement or torture. Karim Khan is an important figure at the ICC. He is the prosecutor, which means he is in charge of investigating and pressing charges in these serious cases. Khan has had a lot of experience in law, especially in dealing with international cases, and his role is crucial for the ICC to function properly. As the prosecutor, he looks into allegations, gathers evidence, and if there's enough proof, he takes cases to court. One of the key points about the ICC is that he only steps in when countries can't or won't deal with these crimes themselves. This is to ensure that no matter where a crime occurs, if it's serious enough, someone will work to hold those responsible accountable. This makes the ICC an essential part of maintaining fairness and justice worldwide, especially in places where the local legal system might not be strong enough to handle such serious issues. The ICC represents a hope for victims around the world that there will be justice for the wrongs they have suffered. Benjamin Netanyahu is a political figure serving multiple terms as the Prime Minister of Israel. His leadership has been marked by significant controversy, especially regarding Israel's policies and military actions. Recently, he had been brought to the international spotlight as the International Criminal Court, ICC, looks into allegations against him. The allegations suggest that Netanyahu might be responsible for what are known as war crimes. These are serious accusations and typically involve actions during wartime that violate international laws designed to protect civilians and maintain some humanity in conflict. For Netanyahu, the specific charges would likely stem from military actions taken under his government's command, which critics argue have resulted in unnecessary civilian harm and other abuses. The process of how some like Netanyahu might end up facing these charges starts with the ICC's prosecutor, Karim Khan, who has the duty to investigate war crimes, genocide, and crimes against humanity. If Khan finds enough evidence, he can then bring charges against individuals regardless of their status or position. This is a significant aspect of international law because it holds that no one, not even a sitting prime minister, is above the law. It's important to note that these proceedings are highly complex and are influenced by many political and legal factors. The ICC must carefully navigate these waters as it works to maintain its authority and enforce international law. The court's actions are meant to send a strong message worldwide that international norms must be respected and those who break the laws will face consequences. This move to potentially prosecute a sitting prime minister is rare and underscores the severity of the allegations. For Netanyahu, this process could lead to trials in international court, a situation that carries significant weight not just for him personally, but also for Israel and its international relations. The outcome could have far-reaching implications for how countries conduct military operations and how they are held accountable on the world stage. The ICC's involvement is not just about one person or one case. It represents a broader struggle for justice and accountability. It challenges leaders everywhere to consider the consequences of their actions, especially when those actions have devastating impacts on civilians. The International Criminal Court (ICC) has a very specific role in global justice. It steps in when countries themselves are unable or unwilling to prosecute serious crimes like war crimes, genocide, and crimes against humanity. This concept is known as the principle of complementarity, which is a fundamental to the ICC's operations. The court acts as a last resort, filling in the gaps in the international legal system by ensuring that no significant crime goes unpunished. For the ICC to prosecute someone like Benjamin Netanyahu, several legal requirements must be met. First, the court must have jurisdiction. This means that the crimes must have occurred in a country that is a member of the ICC, or the United Nations Security Council must refer to the case to the ICC, which includes situations involving non-member countries. In cases involving Israel, jurisdiction becomes complex because Israel is not a member of the ICC. However, the territories where the alleged crimes occurred, such as the West Bank or in Gaza Strip, are often considered in different legal terms, potentially granting the ICC jurisdiction under certain conditions. Once jurisdiction is established, the prosecutor, in this case, Karim Khan, must conduct a preliminary examination. This is an initial review to see if there is reasonable basis to believe that crimes within the court's mandate have been committed. If this is proven, the prosecutor moves on to the next step, launching an investigation. During the investigation, the prosecutor gathers evidence to support the charges. This phase is critical and requires thorough work to collect credible and sufficient evidence to prove that the accused is responsible for the crimes. If enough evidence is gathered, the case can proceed to trial, where judges will hear the arguments and ultimately decide on the guilt or innocence of the defendant. This legal process emphasizes the ICC's commitment to impartiality and justice, holding even the highest-ranking officials accountable under international law. The case against Netanyahu, therefore, is not just about the specific charges, but also underscores the broader reach and impact of international law and addressing global conflicts and human rights abuses. The move by the International Criminal Court (ICC) to possibly prosecute Benjamin Netanyahu has stirred a wide range of reactions and far-reaching implications. Internationally, the decision has been met with mixed responses. Some countries and human rights organizations see this as a positive step towards justice and accountability, applauding the ICC for its willingness to address alleged war crimes regardless of the accused's political status. Others, particularly allies of Israel, view this move as problematic, arguing that it could be seen as an overreach of international law or as politically motivated. In Israel, the reaction has been largely critical. Many view the ICC's actions as an intrusion to their national sovereignty, believing that Israel should handle its own affairs without external interference. This situation has also sparked intense debate within Israel about its engagement with international institutions, with some calling for increased isolation from such entities. The implications of this case extend beyond diplomatic relations. If Netanyahu were to be prosecuted, it could set a precedent for how senior leaders are treated under international law. This could lead to other leaders facing similar scrutiny for their actions in conflict zones, potentially changing how international policies and military actions are planned and executed around the world. Moreover, this situation underscores the delicate balance between pursuing justice and maintaining international peace and stability. As this case progresses, it will likely continue to provoke debate about the role of the ICC and the limits of international judicial intervention in a globalized world. To understand the charges against Benjamin Netanyahu, it's important to look at the historical and political context of the Israeli and Palestinian conflict. This long-standing conflict has its roots in deep historical, religious, and territorial disputes between Israelis and Palestinians. Over the years, there have been numerous wars, uprisings, and ongoing violence, with both sides suffering significant casualties and hardships. Netanyahu has been a central figure in Israeli politics for many years, and during his tenure, Israel has conducted several military operations in Palestinian territories, such as Gaza. These operations have often resulted in high civilian casualties and widespread destruction, leading to accusations of excessive use of force and violations of international law. The international community has been divided on this issue. Some countries and organizations have condemned Israel's actions, calling for accountability and justice for the Palestinian people. Others have supported Israel, citing its right to defend itself against terrorist attacks and arguing that the actions taken were necessary for security. The ICC's involvement is a significant development because it shows an effort to apply international law to this complex and contentious situation. It highlights the ongoing struggle to balance national security concerns with the protection of human rights. Historically, there have been few instances where high-ranking officials have been held accountable for actions taken during conflicts, making this case particularly noteworthy. By looking at past conflicts and prosecutions, we can see that the road to justice is often long and complicated. The potential prosecution of Netanyahu by the ICC adds another chapter to this ongoing story, emphasizing the importance of seeking justice even in the most challenging circumstances. The International Criminal Court, ICC, faces several challenges in prosecuting Benjamin Netanyahu. One major issue is that Israel is not a member of the ICC, making it difficult to enforce these decisions. Additionally, prosecuting a sitting prime minister involves complex political and legal obstacles. Critics also argue that the ICC is biased and selectively targets certain countries while ignoring others. These criticisms and challenges highlight the difficulties the ICC faces in trying to uphold international justice, especially when powerful political figures are involved. Despite these hurdles, the ICC's efforts to underscore the ongoing fight for accountability and justice worldwide. The next step in the ICC's case against Benjamin Netanyahu involved a thorough investigation by prosecutor Karim Khan. If enough evidence is found, formal charges will be brought, leading to a trial. This process can take a long time due to the complexity of gathering evidence and legal proceedings. The outcomes would range from a full trial to potential diplomatic resolutions. This case will be closely watched worldwide, as it may set important precedents for international law and the accountability of world leaders. The journey ahead is uncertain, but it underscores the global demand for justice and accountability. As we've seen, the attempt by prosecutor Karim Khan to bring Benjamin Netanyahu before the ICC marks a significant moment in international law. While the road ahead is fought with legal and diplomatic hurdles, this case will undoubtedly have lasting implications on the global stage. It challenges us to think about the role of international law in achieving justice and how the international community responds to allegations of war crimes. And that's it for today's discussion. If you have thoughts or questions about this case or international justice, leave us a comment below. We're here to foster a respectful and informed discussion on topics that matter. Until next time, stay informed and engaged.